the first question, let's go back to the beginning. When was your first time experiencing claw? Like, how did that happen?
Oh my god. I was like a little kid. It must have been, I don't know exactly, but it must have been like early 2000s. And my mom just came back from some local market, I guess. She brought two discs from PC World or some other magazine. So one of them was obviously Claw, like the full version, which is also funny thing. It had big text on the disc saying that this game is without violence, and that was the main reason she got me the game, because like she didn't want something improper for me to play.
Okay.
And yeah, it might be not exactly accurate for Claw, but yeah, I guess it's not that bad in this case. And the other game was it was like a winter pack with Fantasia. I'm not sure if you're familiar. So we had like advent calendar with the games.
No,
It's
no,
also pretty
never
fun.
that one.
Yeah, so that was my first time, and I guess my whole family was enjoying Flow back then.
Whole family.
We played with, yeah, definitely. I mean, maybe not my mom that much, but after that, definitely played with us. And we used to challenge each other with my sister, like how far can we get. We defined some rules, like each cutscene you see in the game, you would get another restart, and we would try to go as far as possible without losing all lives. It was pretty hard for us back then, obviously. Not as much today, but yeah, as kids, it was a pretty hard game.
Did you manage to go through the whole game at some point, or?
Yeah, but it was many years later, I believe. So I think we got stuck in a couple of places throughout playing. I remember Gabriel was a bit harder for us, but the thing we really got stuck on was Aquatis, because we didn't know all of the controls, and we just couldn't figure out that you can throw Dinoid further away, so we just couldn't do that.
Alright. So, I had the same kind of experience with when I first started Claw. Like, me and my brother, we were both the ones playing that game all the time. And of course, it was really hard. I think we got up to level 7 or level 8, but we could never get past that point. We were just like not good enough at that point. But yeah, it was always fun times with the bros, and just trying to beat the game as best as we can. Every time somebody dies, switch over to the other guy.
Yeah, something similar for me. It was definitely part of the fun, seeing us each other play, and how far can we go. For the Aquatis problem, I guess I have I got this problem that I didn't look to through controls in many games I played. So I had similar. I'm not sure if you played Gex, for example. It's also platformer from similar times.
Did you say Mega Man X?
No, Gex. That's like a
Gex.
Gecko guy.
Yeah, Gex. I did play Gex once at some friend's place at some point, but I didn't play like at home extensively.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I played a lot of it, not figuring out that there's like sprint button, which can you still hear me? This stream is cutting out for me. Yeah.
You can still.
Cool. Yeah, I played a big part of it, not figuring out that there's a sprint button, and that's just turned out some levels were impossible to beat, I guess, at some point. I had similar experience many years later when the Skyrim came out, and I just played the whole game almost not figuring out there's a sprint button. So like, that's just my thing, I guess, not reading enough info.
All right. So when you were a kid, what time was that? Like 2000 something, or around the 90s?
Yeah. I mean, I was born in '95, so that must have been early 2000s. I was a really small kid when I first played it.
All right. And when did you start getting involved with the community? You know, the forums and maybe the Discord later.
Yeah, I registered on the Cloud forum in December 2008. I've been lurking, looking through the website and stuff earlier a bit, but not that much, I guess. So I registered because I started getting into level creation. I started thinking about modding Claw, and that's why I just registered to ask people what experience do they have, like can I learn something from them, but most questions that I asked, it was just like, it's not possible, you can't do that in Claw, and I was really frustrated by that, and I just wanted to prove them wrong, I guess. So that's my kind of origins to modding Claw.
Yeah, that's nice. So almost 15 years ago that
Yeah,
that's community.
A lot of time ago, yeah.
Yeah. And how did you and Cubus start, you know, working on Crazyhook and making that a possibility?
I'm not sure exactly what year was that. I guess something like 2012, maybe. I was involved a bit with Kianek's WAP back then. WAP, as you want to pronounce it. I guess they had a bit of rival dynamic between them back then. So Kianek used to a bit give up a bit on the editor, but when Kubuś came back and started working on his editor, then Kianek would come back and say, hey, we are working on the new updates, like that. And there was one topic when we started figuring out that you can add some graphics without editing the res file, which was like the biggest pain. That you know, changing anything in the game, you would have to repart the whole big file, and that would be extremely annoying. So figuring that out, I guess it was Arthur from the community who told me that you know, it's not just sound files that you can put in the RIP. Like the RIP version had the sounds unpacked, so when I found that you can also put some graphics in there and the game would actually load it, that was like a big reverse point, and I started playing around, found by editing, like by looking through the game code, I found that there was actually bitmap support, so we started experimenting with that. There was like a whole community thread on the forum that people used to put their own graphics for me to put in the game, and we played a bit back and forth with that. And I remember Kubuś mentioned something like, yeah, that's cool, so now just next step would be putting the logics in the game, something like that. Or maybe someone else mentioned that, and then Kubuś mentioned like, it doesn't sound possible. And then I mentioned like, maybe not impossible, but really hard. And we just shifted the conversation to like private DMs, something like that. with a communicator that we used back then, and just started talking, and a couple hours later we already started working on it. Basically, that was like really crazy experience.
Yeah, sure was. So you also worked on the more recent level editor as well, instead of the original one that was included with the game, right?
Yep. So from the early days, I guess we also had a bit of story with Janek when we came separate paths at points. It was after we originally worked a bit on one of the sequel ideas for Claw. I mean, I feel like I've been involved in almost every project for Claw sequels in the community.
Yeah, there must have been like
pretty
at least 50 of them, right?
Yeah, at least, definitely. And yeah, we worked a bit on one of them. We had a small team, and at some point it's fallen apart because Janek disappeared, and then we got in a bit of a fight when he came back. But after some time, he started working on the editor, and he mentioned to me like, "Hey, I don't really like you after recent experiences. I don't really trust you, but I don't see anyone as good with the code as you in the community right now. So, would you like to help me?" And I said, "Yeah, sure, let's go.
Yeah,
Let's do it." And
old school drama right there.
yeah, there was some dramas definitely in the community. Back then we were, pretty young, so that always happens with like kids, teenagers, stuff like that. And I guess we became like the best friends right after for a long time.
Well,
Even though we only saw each other like once later after years.
at least everything ended well. There's still like a little drama going on here and there in the community, but not that much.
So I think it cuts you off for me.
Oh, you still hear me?
Yeah.
Alright, so I was saying like at least everything ended well.
Yep.
And there's still a little drama here and there in the community, but not that much. I know there was something with Thanos at some point. But
Yeah, I mean it's like late years. Everyone grew up. It's a bit different world, so people don't care that much. Mostly, if someone gets involved in a drama, it's like his drama mostly. People around don't get that involved.
Yeah, well, conflicts and tensions usually rise when there's a common point that we all care about, and that's what's important.
Yep.
So today, how are you satisfied with how Crazyhook is going? Like, are you satisfied with where Crazyhook stands today?
I mean, I'm a bit polarized on this, I guess. I feel really appreciative of the whole community using it. I love it to see that people are actually running this version. Like, it's so amazing that it's like kind of my product, even though it's not my game, but it's still like my version. And there's like the whole I guess maybe not thousands, but like many people using it, and it works well for most of them. But on the other end, it was like not properly. We didn't put too much thought in it, and we could definitely build it better, probably. So especially for like functionality for the level creators, there's a lot of stuff missing, and like the versioning of the thing, releasing new versions, it was not the best experience, so we didn't do too many of that. And I guess I don't feel that that don't feel like doing the next version of the same thing. I would rather start over and release something new.
I didn't quite get that last part. Okay, can you just repeat it?
Yeah, it's I see that it's cutting me out of a bit. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I mentioned that I would rather start from scratch and do it properly today. If I were to spend more time with the project.
All right. So that brings me to my next question. Like, what are the future plans for Crazyhook? Is it gonna stay as it is, or are you gonna have a version 2 coming up?
So for Crazyhook, I bet it's going to stay as it is for forever. I guess I'm not really planning to do any updates. There been some like custom versions made, which is also a point why I think it wasn't thought about very enough, since people had to modify like the source instead of doing the whole in their own mod. They had to like release the whole version of the game to do some stuff, more wacky stuff. But yeah, I think this one will stay as it is, and I've put a lot of work in like the version 2 of the game, of the mod, I guess, but it's nowhere near to be done now, and I didn't have a lot of time to work on it recently, so I'm not sure how the future of that will be. I don't want to make any promises, but if it's going to come out, I think it's gonna be pretty cool, and I'll definitely be shouting about it.
I mean, do you have any type of funding for it? You have some place where people can give you donations or something, like a Patreon or nothing like that?
No, I have never created any like fundraising or anything like that. I didn't care too much about it. There been one cool guy that reached out to me and asked me if he can get me some donation, and done it like a couple of times, but that's pretty much it.
Alright. Do you still play the game a lot, or are you just more messing with the code than anything else these days?
I mean, I still have the copy for sure, like on each PC I have. If I install a new system version or something, first thing I need to check is like, is the game still running, or do we need to make any patch for newer systems? But I don't play it too much now. I also, as I mentioned, I don't find too much time to work on the code on daily basis, and it's a pretty massive thing, so you can't really like hop in, hop out. I tried it sometimes and it's not really working. You have to really put yourself into it, like a couple of months, non-stop working on it to really make some progress. And also with a project like that, you don't see too much progress on daily basis, because you still end up with having the same game visible for most of the time. So every change you make is like seems like you're putting effort but not making any progress. It's like kind of a bummer. But it's tough, but I hope at some point I'll get through it and have it released. would be fun.
Maybe one day somebody will come around and help you. That could speed things up, right?
Yeah, I think that there have been like one or two people reaching out to me if they can help somehow, but if I started communicating, they just disappeared because it's a pretty big scary thing. It's not that easy to get involved, I think.
Yeah, of course. You need to have the time and the dedication to work on it.
Yep. And time of our lives when we just had so much time because we didn't have a job, didn't have any like family going on. That's pretty much over, and I'm not sure if I'll be in the state again, like staying for nights working on the code through like the whole month. That was like fun but crazy experience on the Crazyhook.
Maybe one day the opportunity will rise again. You'll be like,
we'll have to see.
You're like 5 years down the road, you're gonna be thinking, oh, maybe I can still like do something more. Who knows?
Yeah. I would love it, definitely.
I mean, I'm not sure if that would if it's the same kind of feeling from just playing the game, because I know that from back when I played as a kid, and then when I steadily grew up over the years, I always like after a couple of years, I would always be like, oh, where's that old Claw game? I would like go through my stuff, look for the CD, and try to beat it again. And it just always came back in my mind, and every time I went back to it, it just gave me that happy feeling. I'm not sure if it would be the same kind of feeling for coding, though.
Sure. There's a couple of games from my childhood which give me this feeling coming back, like this one, like Croc, the first two, first two, only two that were released. There's like Hype, the Time Quest. I guess that's like the major ones. Yeah, Rayman titles, the early ones, like the Rayman 2. That's been a huge fan. Like playing that brings just brings memories. I think Claw is like the easiest for me to hop in and enjoy that spark of memories, because it's like been always around for me, like because I worked on it so much. But I recently also played a couple of other games, and it's just back in this kid state, amazing feeling.
Yeah. So, what about your other side project, Claw.js or JavaScript? Is that on the back burner as well?
Sorry, can you repeat? It's cut me off again.
What about your other side project, Claw.js or JavaScript? Is that on the back burner as well?
I mean, it was mainly a project that I did for the university. So I had one class where we had to create some game, and it was like obvious for me that it would be Claw, Claw clone. So I did it like for the whole semester, and thought about finishing the whole thing, but I'm not sure if I'll find time for that, because there was also some complexity behind it, like the dependencies and other stuff.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, it just there's barely any difference from playing on the JavaScript or playing the Crazyhook version, right?
Yeah, there are minor differences, but I guess most fun part of Claw.js is that you can like run it on anything. I would go to the shops like hardware shops and just run it on some laptop or tablet. I sometimes just grab my phone and play Claw.js for fun because I mean it's not fully playable on mobile. Like you can't attack and stuff like that, but just for running through the level, it's like so fun.
I mean, it could be a nice project to complete, so that people can play on a good version on mobile.
Yeah, sure.
For now,
yeah.
For now, the way you can play on mobile is really complicated.
Yeah, it was a bit of like experiment on my side. I wanted to come up with my own control scheme and just had some ideas. I put it in and just moved on. Basically, didn't come back to try to fix it, adjust it, and yeah, I just left it as it is. I guess also if I were to finish the like Claw 2, as I call it. It would basically make like render the Claw.js useless because Claw 2 could be also built for any device like mobile, etc. So you don't really need Claw.js if you can just run actual game like real code in the browser or on mobile device. And the thing with Claw.js, it was like I aimed to close 100%, staying true to the original, but it wasn't like the real code, real logics. So it would never reach this being this close to the original as the project I recently worked on. So yeah, I guess it just moved it out of the schedule, I would say.
Yeah. So one question I was wondering, because we got to think about this when we're starting to think about having the sequel and maybe having somebody build a sequel. Like, where does Crazyhook and the rest of your work fit in terms of copyright? Like, does it automatically fall on a monolith's copyright, or is it like a separate thing that's like, could somebody buy the Crazyhook code and just use it for an emulator or something?
So I'm not that good with like copyright law, but I did have some class about it, and I believe that in general doing Crazyhook was legal for like my own use. I think it's not a huge problem if I share it with other people that have some issue with running the game, because like if you bought the game, you have the right to play it, and if it doesn't run for you, then you have every right to do anything with the game to make it run, basically. But in general, doing anything else like the
as long as you don't sell it, it should be fine.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
I said as long as you don't sell the version as a separate game.
Yeah. But also like the thing that we did with modding, I guess it's a bit problematic because it's doesn't come with like just fixing the game, right? It's not like it's not something extra. But I guess it's not that huge deal unless someone would be really wanting to get our access for that, and since we are not getting any money from that ever, I don't think it would be a problem.
Yeah, there would be no point. I mean, Crazyhook.
Yep.
I mean the version, it mostly helps because people today they can't even buy the game. I mean, Monolith doesn't sell the game anymore.
I'll have to fight my way out of this.
And even if somebody did buy an old copy online, they would have a lot of trouble running the game.
Yep. There's still a lot of people coming to the community asking like, how can I run it on this device, right? Like I especially bought this device to run Claw, and now I can get it running. So yeah, it's much easier to just download Crazyhook, and it mostly works out of the box.
Yep. So I have 2 more questions.
Mm-hmm.
Which one would you pick? A sequel or a remake / remaster of the game?
Yeah, I heard you talk about this one with Silver Mason. I guess my answer would be pretty much the same. So if there was a chance to do both, I would definitely do both. But sequel is, I guess, more interesting. But also, I guess it is pretty easy to screw up like with people's expectations, right? When you are thinking about sequel, everyone would have their own image in their heads, and as long as it stays like in the dreamland, then it's like the perfect thing. But immediately when you release something, there would be at least some percentage of people that hate you for that because it doesn't match with their expectations.
I like how you called it the Dreamland.
Yeah.
It stays a dream.
It's something that's with Claw is that's amazing. That we only have this lovely memory of it, and like can go back to this memory, but don't have anything further that would break this. And I kind of like it staying there, but also have like this huge vision of stuff that could be done with it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always saying that the original game is great, but it would be cool to have something more because the IP is really strong. It has a really solid basis, and you can build almost any type of game with this story and these characters.
It's cutting you off again.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
All right, so I was saying, like, with these characters and the story, you can build like almost any type of game, and it would work. It would just be amazing in any type of setting.
Yeah. Definitely.
That's why I would love
myself
having something more.
I myself have like so many ideas of like not even the sequel is one thing, like the prequel could be made, but like just the idea of putting new games in the universe, like you could have some strategy game in the universe, but you could also have like some open world adventure, like kind of Dark Souls like, where you just go through the world and have some interactions with other pirates, but it's kind of also a solo adventure.
Yeah, I always
there's so much you can do with it.
I always like to imagine what it would have been like to have a Claw, like on a AAA budget, having that whole scale to the game.
So far, so good.
Yeah, I wonder what would it look like if someone modded, for example, like AC Black Flag to make it look like Claw.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Would it be? Yeah. Or it could, ruin the dreamland that we have now.
Well, the Dreamland, it always remains because, whatever happens with a sequel or a spin-off, the original is always going to stay there.
Maybe. But also, people have this salty feeling that, something maybe shouldn't have been done if it was done not according to their thought. So
Yeah, of course. So, if usually like when you do something more, you wanna have the voices of the community. You want to make sure that you don't do anything wrong.
I'll have to fight
And
my way out of this.
you know, since you are part of this community and you have a big role in it, if you had a choice, would you like to participate in the
cutting you
sequel
off
or the
again?
remaster if it happened? Oh, sorry. So, okay, are you all right now?
Yeah.
All right. So, if a sequel or a remaster did happen and you had a choice, would you like to participate in that project even after all the failed attempts before?
Yeah, I mean, I think this will be always like sweet spot for me. Even if I don't really believe in something, I would still want to at least be there to help if it might achieve something. It's always like, if you're going to go there, I want to be here and help, give my hand.
All right. Well, your help would definitely be appreciated, I'm sure, because you are the genius, the mind behind how we can play today. If nobody made Crazyhook, if nobody made Crazyhook, like most of us couldn't play the game today. So it's just like, thank you for, doing what you did. Being part of the community, being still there, even though you had less time, and coming on and talking to me for about an hour to just just reminisce and have a great time and talking about Claw.
Thank you for having me and for playing my version of the game. Sharing it to the world with that small message that states my
Crazyhook
name.
update by Zax37 in Cubus.
Yeah, it's always a great feeling to just see it on your stream.
Yeah, I always like to mention your name too when the credits roll. It's like, oh, there's Zax.
Did you know which parts of the credits I added?
I know you edited the Claw.js part, the can't believe I didn't leave a message here before part, and I think there was also the have you ever been to Greece part?
Yeah. It was just after the holidays there. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why I always love. It's not. I have nothing against Greece, but I always love to say that when somebody takes he takes a lot of weight, they take some weight on. I always like, oh well, they must have gone on a trip to Greece because Greece means it means fat. Anyways, so thanks for being here, and we'll see you in the Discord. If somebody has any question to ask you, they can ask you directly. And
sure.
If somebody else, they want to,
and
they want to help.
Have a long evening.
All right. Thank you. See ya.
Bye.